Got
Yep.
it.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today's guest is broadcasting live all the way from Spain. His name is Kuba. He's known as the Juice Man, and please welcome him to the show. It's very nice to meet you. You might be my first guest from Spain. I'm not sure.
Oh, wow. Nice to meet you, AJ. Thank you for having me. I'm
Mike?
very excited, especially to share what I'm going to share because I think it's very unique and the world needs to learn about it.
Right. Well, even before you jump into the recipes, Kuba, tell us a little bit about yourself and your plant-based journey.
Sure. I'm just going to make sure the volume is all the way up. So my journey started about just over 8 years ago with a sad story, actually, with my dad getting stomach and esophagus cancer. And then I started just basically learning about health. My sister gave me a book called The Crazy Sexy Diet by Chris Carr. The Crazy Sexy, Eat Your Greens, Ignite Your Spark, and Live Like You Mean It diet. It was kind of geared towards women, but the science is for all humans, right? So I'm reading this book while I was watching my dad suffering in the hospital. Stage 4 stomach cancer. They said that he's not going to make it. So like there's no way to save him. And I'm just learning about an alkaline diet versus an acidic diet and how plant foods are more alkaline and how meat and dairy and processed foods are acidic. And I was just learning this and starting to make changes and then having hope that there's actually hope for my dad because this woman had 12 tumors herself and she was clinically diagnosed as, terminally ill. And she made it. She changed her diet, she changed her lifestyle, she went on a plant-based diet and the tumors went into remission and she lived healthier than she did before she was sick. So that just it made so much sense to me, the science of an alkaline diet. I started incorporating it and then just learning, watching so much YouTube, reading and just watching people's experiences. And it was very short, like within a few weeks that I saw the raw food diet. And it was Kevin Costmo from High Energy Parenting. He did a lot of work with Doug Graham from Food and Sport. And I saw his video of transformation going from like sick and tired to like hiking a mountain in Peru and just having more energy and showing how like fit he got and energetic. And at the end of the video, he's like, fruits and vegetables. And then it just light bulb went off in my head. And I was just like, fruits and vegetables makes so much sense. We always are pushed our whole lives to eat fruits and vegetables that is so healthy. So why not eat only fruits and vegetables? So that's when I started getting into the raw stuff.
And this was 8 years ago.
This was just over 8 years ago in March. Well, March is when my dad passed away. He got diagnosed in January, passed away in March. So just over 2 months. It was so fast. But while he was sick, we were working with a herbalist. My brother was more into like conscious diet and stuff. So we were giving him wheatgrass shots. We had to feed him through a tube and it directly into his intestines. And I was having hope that we can help him. But I didn't know, like what I know now, if I knew it then, I would have like put juice in his feeding tube. Or I would have, did things way different. But it was like a really scary time. My parents were paranoid. They didn't want to like stray from the hospital protocols. And the herbalist said, you got to kind of trust me 100%. But we were kind of 50-50. And my dad was attached to the sugar water from the hospital, sponsored by Nestle. And it didn't make sense to me. I tasted it. It was disgusting. It's pure like sugar. And anyways, all the specialists were saying this is important. And then he got like a bigger tumor in that area where it was feeding. So my brother came and gave him juice maybe once, and we would give him wheatgrass shots, but not enough to make a big transformation. So my dad was a sacrifice for me to adopt this lifestyle and start living healthy and promoting healthy, and now actually helping my mom to be healthy, which is actually an amazing story.
Well, I'm sorry. Of course, I'm sorry about your dad, but I am glad that you found the gift in that you yourself got on a healthy track because of that. When he was diagnosed with the cancer, did the doctors say anything about why they thought he got cancer?
No, because a doctor came to the house. So he was in the hospital for a month, and then because he got a hole in his stomach and we had to feed him down through his intestines, and it was like no hope. So we're like, can we just bring him home? So the last month he was home, and the doctor would come house visit, and he kind of asked some general questions. And I asked him, like, could it be diet? He's like, no, it's nothing to do with diet. Could it be like he worked in a factory with chemicals? He's like, no, I don't think so. But he didn't give any concrete answers. He was just kind of asking questions, very general.
Wow.
So nothing specific to trace it down to. But I know from watching my dad, around the time he retired, he got his gallbladder removed. He had some stones in there. And since he got his gallbladder removed, I feel like he's had many more health issues. And that's like the last few years of his life.
Did your family basically eat the standard American diet?
Yes, standard Polish diet, because we're originally from Poland. Standard Polish diet with like Canadian influence. You know, we grew up with McDonald's and stuff too. So my parents, like at home, was traditional Polish. Lots of dairy, lots of bread, lots of cold cuts, and just like growing up, going to school with a sandwich that's just like bread and a cold cut or cheese, and like pretty dry, but still like lots of potatoes and healthy salads and stuff. But a lot of times the salads were mixed with dairy or heavy oils and a lot of fried stuff. And then, you know, occasionally going to restaurants, just like the Canadians that we grew up with.
Wow. Kielbasa?
Kielbasa, yes. We did a lot of camping, so we cooked kielbasa on the fire.
I actually think I might have had a guest on that did vegan kielbasa. Had you heard about a vegan or plant-based diet before discovering Chris Carr's book?
Yes, I have. So I was into spirituality before, and I heard of like vegetarianism through different religions. I heard that in India, most of the population was vegetarian. I just like randomly heard that somewhere. And I was like, oh, if like a whole population can do it, that means it's possible. So I tried to be vegetarian for many years, maybe 10 years prior, because I learned this lifestyle at 27. And at 17, I started being like more conscious and stuff. And I tried to be vegetarian, and I would go for like maybe 3 months here or a couple months there. But I didn't have it like ingrained in me, like in my system. It wasn't natural. So I would always fall off, and I would eat what people gave me. But it was in grade 12 geography class that I learned that the sun is where all of the living stuff on the planet gets its power from, its energy from. And the teacher was explaining how when the cow eats the grass, it gets like most of the energy from the sun, because the sun powers up the plants through photosynthesis. And then when we eat the cow, or whoever eats the animal that eats the plants, gets a fraction of that energy of the sun. And that made so much sense to me. So I had these like sparks that vegetarianism made sense to me, and I always tried. But it wasn't until my dad that really like shook me. But it used to be like, even for the animals, like I couldn't kill an animal. I lived with a woman, and she would cook us dinner like through a school program. And she one night asked me to help her with the lobster, to put it in alive in the boiling water. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't, because I was the man of the house. So I got to do the dirty work. I was like, I can't. I forgot about it, went about my day. I came for dinner, and the lobster was there ready. And I had like a claw on my plate. And I tried a little bit to open it so hard. I'm just like, I can't eat this. And then my roommate was like, if you can't eat that, then you shouldn't eat any animal, kind of thing. I was like, you're right. And then I did like maybe 3 months of like hard vegetarian, because that kind of sparked it. Another time I was camping, and the neighbor was like, who wants fish? Because I would be vegetarian but eat fish. Who wants fresh fish I just caught? And I was the first one to be like, yes, I would love that. He gives me the bowl of water with the fish in it alive. It's like, all you gotta do is grab a rock and smash the head open of the fish. I was like, I can't do that either. So all these things made me realize like even how much like animals suffer, and even fish suffer, and like I can't kill to eat.
It's funny because I've been vegan for 45 years, and it was a comment from a veterinarian who was vegan when I was young that said, if you love your dog so much, how can you eat that cow? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I mean, it's like, duh, but other people don't get the memo, I guess.
It doesn't register, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Every animal is the same.
Yeah, so maybe not every viewer may know this, but whenever I have a guest on the show, I ask them to suggest the title up to 100 characters, what they would like. And you said, man wakes up from a coma. Now, was that just a teaser, or did that really happen?
Okay, so the thing I'm doing is called the Power Milk. I call it Power Milk, but it's based off of someone else's recipe. And this someone else is Lou Corona. Have you heard of Lou Corona?
I have. I have. I think I've even heard him speak at a conference many years ago.
Okay, he's my biggest inspiration in the raw food world because he's 70. He's been doing it for like 50 years. He looks like he's in his 40s. And he has a thing called gorilla milk. So this is what this is based off of, like the inspiration. And gorilla milk is a green juice mixed with a coconut almond milk. And it's just this powerful drink he makes. And he gave it to a man in a hospital, a true story that he shared on YouTube. A 70-plus-year-old man in a coma in the hospital. He put that in his feeding tube. And that's why I say, in hindsight, I would do that with my dad, you know. I would put that in his feeding tube. So he put that in his feeding tube, and within an hour, the man woke up from the coma. So it was an incredible story. And then I tried the gorilla milk. I fell in love with it. And then Dan McDonald is one of like, he's kind of like a little bit under the wing of Luke Corona. He's younger than Luke Corona. He's about late 40s, and he's been doing the raw lifestyle for a long time. He's a big inspiration of mine as well. A lot of people know him. He's known as a life regenerator. And he made different versions of the milk too. And he made one called Beauty Milk, which is similar, but he used beets. Beets, because beets are for beauty, make your skin glow. So my version also has beet, but it has lots of the greens. And then the milk is a little bit different.
Hey, so did you go from being just, you know, a standard Polish Canadian diet to a raw vegan, or were there some transition steps in between?
No, lots of transition. I'd say I'm like still transitioning. I'm not like a Luke Corona. I'm not 100% raw. I'm not always raw. Like I go through periods. But yeah, so my journey's been an evolution. So I would try to be raw, but it was so hard around my family. And especially like we took my dad's ashes to Poland to bury. And that summer, I'd be like home with my mom and my grandma's making smoothies, salads, eating fruits, just learning about the raw diet. And then we go out and have like cake and whatever people offer, like even animal products. I didn't have that discipline for the first like year or so. And it wasn't until I left on my own back to where I was studying in Quebec, the French part of Canada. And I went on my own finally with all this knowledge and about a year of experiencing this lifestyle, but with my family. Finally on my own for 5 weeks and just like loaded up my fridge. I still was not perfect. I still had some beers and I still had some salmon. And I even bought chicken, but I didn't touch it until the end of the 5 weeks. But I was just eating basically like a smoothie for breakfast. I was soaking almonds overnight and had almonds for snacks. I was eating fruit for lunch. And then I would have one day either a salad, so it would be like a day raw. Another day, maybe I would have like the rice and veggies, maybe with some of the salmon. And another day I would have just like sweet potato and like carrots. And in that 5 weeks, I went through a transformation. I got pretty skinny. I got really light. So I saw bones I've never seen, but I've also saw muscles I've never seen. Handstands became easier. I felt like I was getting faster running. And I was like, this stuff works. And then I went home for Christmas and then kind of went down. And it was like an up and down journey for a couple of years until I did a 3-month juice cleanse, which I know is kind of intense. I was under the guidance of John Rose. He was coaching me through a 3-month juice cleanse. And I feel like that reset my taste buds and really helped me be more raw and just like connected to nature and cut out a lot of the cravings. But that lasted about a year. And then it's been like an up and down journey, but constantly going like more and more up, if that makes sense. And going to the Woodstock Fruit Festival, I've been 4 times. I feel like every year I would just measure my vibration just being like higher. And then when I connect with the community, it's like this lifestyle is a breeze. I don't think about cooked food. I don't think about alcohol. I don't think about, it's just like abundance of fruits and vegetables. People are doing the same thing, like-minded. This lifestyle is just so easy. So for me, it's been tricky more like in society, you know, playing my role.
That's fantastic. I've always been around the periphery of you wonderful raw folks. I was raw for a couple of years. I admire you for being able to do it.
Well, I found this balance because I found myself like stressing socially, trying to be raw and then not being so present with my friends, thinking about like the food when I get home to eat. So now I'm just like, I'll go and have a cooked meal with my friend sometimes. And it's not a big deal. I'll get a wholesome vegan meal. And then in the evening, maybe I'll have a celery cucumber juice. Next morning, I'll like fast a little and just like back on my raw foods at home. But I'm not like 100% strict. So I feel like this balance is more healthy for me, like emotionally, I guess, to not like stress being pure. Purity is not like good for me. Certain people do well with it, but I don't do the best with like
I
purity.
think that puts a lot of pressure on people. Dr. Lyle, I don't know if you're familiar with him, the co-author of The Pleasure Trap, talks about how perfection can put some people into a place called the ego trap that is really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so one of the live viewers is asking, can you really put juice in a feeding tube?
Lou Corona did it. Why not? It's just a feeding tube and it's liquid going down. So you're just putting juice instead of the whatever else is the solution that's in there. Because the solution is just like sugar water, basically, from the hospital. And so with my dad, he had the feeding tube, but we were feeding him with these other tubes like directly into like a hole here. And we would give him wheatgrass shots every 4 hours. And it was fine. And the one time my brother made juice, the same thing. He did it with that too. And it was a bit too intense for my dad. It was like cabbage and stuff. And going directly there, it was like a bit intense. But that feeding tube that's like connected, you know, like standing here and it goes into you somehow. And it's just like slowly feeding you. I don't see why you can't put juice in there and just slowly goes into you. It's just nutrition.
Well, you know, when you think about it, they put Ensure in a feeding tube, which is just a bunch of chemicals and oil and sugar. So why wouldn't they be able to put something healthy in a feeding tube?
Exactly. And that's what the hospital is kind of pushing, like Ensure kind of drinks. And I don't think those are healthy at all.
Great. So I know you're going to make a couple recipes. I'm also interested in knowing what you eat mostly on a daily basis. And is it easy to find these foods in Spain?
Okay, so it depends where you live. I just moved to a new place in the mountains. It's so beautiful. I want to be in nature, but it's harder to get food where I was living like in a bigger city and I could just like go for a walk and go to the local shops. And the local shops in the city there are like high quality produce. A lot of it is locally grown or else from Spain. And maybe there's not like such an abundance of fruit like in Canada where you can get kind of everything because we just ship it from all over the world. But there's like what they do grow locally in Spain is very high quality. It's very nice. So a lot of the vegetables are really high quality. And even my mom came to visit and she said like the carrots don't lose their orange color in the water. And, you know, it's just like a higher quality vegetables and the local fruit. So now it's kind of a mission because it takes 15 minutes just to walk uphill to get home. And then I'll have to like bike 20 minutes to go to the shop that has really high quality produce and some organic produce. But then I go into the city, which takes like an hour with my backpack and I load up on frozen fruits. And then at the closest grocery store, I get bananas. And I just rely heavily on smoothies just to make it easier for budget and for like having access to food that's ripe and ready. And then otherwise there's watermelon in season and there's like plums and apricots and more fruits are coming into season now in the summer. So I haven't met too many people on this lifestyle except for 2 people. I recently met a second person and this girl says she has some land and she knows about foraging fruits and she's going to take me one day. So I'm excited to actually like, I think like to get the best fruits from this island, like that's the way, because at the grocery store, it could be a little bit expensive.
Very cool. What do you eat? Like, for example, could you take us through a day's worth of food for you?
Okay, so I usually start my day with either a lemonade or barley grass juice powder mixed with water. And the lemonade is lemon and a little bit warm water. I don't know if I should share this because it's actually not vegan always, because I use honey. It's the one animal product that I use. And I try to get like the local honey unpasteurized.
Is there a reason? Is there something in honey you feel you need that you can't get in another form?
I think for me, it's just like a way to have, well, it's like an easy way to get like a sugar that's high quality because maple syrup is technically not raw. And agave nectar, I heard controversial things, but sometimes I will get agave.
What about using a date? What about just using a date? What about a date? A date. Like
okay. So for the honey, I want to say, I feel like it connects me to the local vibration of the local area. That's why I like to get the honey from the local farmers. There's usually ones that sell produce and I get their honey, but maybe one day I'll transition off of that. So I do use dates a lot in smoothies and stuff. I guess the honey is a way, or agave or maple syrup is an easy way to mix with water without needing to like blend anything. So sorry for that controversy. I didn't
Oh,
mean
no,
to
no,
bring
no.
that.
Hey, I'm not gonna, sometimes the audience gets a little riled up, but some of them use honey too. I was just asking because I just feel like I like to use the whole food, and I find that I can use dates for anything and they taste amazing, but cool.
Maybe I will do more. But at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, we have sugarcane juice, and I like I said, I don't think about honey or anything like that because it's like so much sugarcane juice, so much fruit, sweet fruits. So yeah, basically I'll have that lemonade or the barley grass juice water, and then I'll meditate, and then I'll do my green juice. So I was doing celery juice for well over a year, celery juice every day, and now I'm just trying to something new, and I'm doing a green juice that's not sweet, no sugar. So it's kind of funny that I'm doing like the sweet and then the not sweet, but I'm trying to do less sweet in my life. So celery, cucumber, and then greens, parsley, spinach.
That's kind of what I'm actually drinking now.
Cool. Is there no apples in it?
There's a little bit of apple in it for sweetness. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
So
Not
I'm trying to do no sweetness,
but
for that green juice, just to alkalize more.
Do you have a favorite juicer? And have you ever heard of John Kohler?
Yes, I know John Kohler. I've hung out with him at the Canada Fruit Fest. I have a cool interview with him actually on my YouTube. But yes, he's actually helped me make the decision to buy the Green Star juicer because he had a video comparing Green Star Elite with an Omega juicer. And I decided to invest in the Green Star. I don't have it here. It's in Canada. I really miss it. It's my baby. And I'm the Green Star kind of guy, like Johnny Juicer, like Dan McDonald, like Luke Corona. And John Kohler uses all of them. So, but the Green Star is just like the highest quality of juice. It kind of beat the Omega in all aspects. And for a long-term juicer and someone who juices as much as me, I felt it would be worth it just to get a better yield from the produce. It had double augers instead of a single auger. And yeah, in my Instagram, I have a link to TriVest. But now I'm just using kind of like some basic juicers because I came here temporarily, but I extended it. So I want to invest, the next juicer I want to invest in is the Nama J2. I hear so many good things about it. I see all my juice loving friends on Instagram just like showing off how easy to just load it up and leave it, and it does all the work. You could just load it up in one go. You could put like a whole pineapple in there. So I really want to get the Nama J2. Otherwise, the ones I'm using, I'm not even going to promote. They're just like basic ones from the appliance shop.
Sounds good. People are mentioning there's also date syrup, which you can make raw yourself, and want to know, do you exercise or lift weights or anything like that?
Yeah. What was it about the dates?
Oh, you can make a date syrup out of dates. You can make a liquid sweetener out of dates.
You know what? I'm going to do that. You guys inspired me.
Yeah, see, so it's a good thing you mentioned it.
Take my veganism to the next level. Yes.
Nice. Excellent. Do you lift weights or do any kind of exercise?
Yes, I do. So I do too much cardio. I grew up as a runner, and I'm always biking to commute. And I feel like I'm kind of skinny because my diet is very like lean promoting, and then I'm doing so much cardio. So I am trying to balance it out with strength training. And I'm doing like 100 push-ups to 200 push-ups a day in the weekdays. And then I'll do like 3 workouts throughout the week, but it's more maintenance. It's like a 10-minute workout, 15-minute workout, 20-minute workout with mainly body weight, and maybe 1 workout with some weights where I'm just like trying to build my chest. My ego wants to grow my chest.
I have never seen a person that's on a 100% or very high raw diet that's also a low fat diet that ever had excess weight. I just never seen that. Have you?
Well, I've been able to do it. Well, yeah, sticking to raw, no. I've been able to do it using cooked food, but then I don't feel as good. So it's a tricky balance. It's like put on some weight so I could look good in my mom's and society's eyes, and then not feel as good, or like just keep lean but feel good, you know?
I think everybody should do what works for them. But I'm just saying, when people say, well, they struggle with their weight, I'm not saying they have to necessarily go 100% raw, but adding more fruits and vegetables, I think, is a good idea, whatever diet you are on right now.
Yes, then that's what I always promote to people. I don't even tell people to change their diet necessarily. I just say, eat more fruits and vegetables, get more fruits for breakfast, or a juice, fruits for your breakfast, have a smoothie in the day, have fruit as snacks, have a salad with your dinner. And then don't worry about like cutting out too much, but just adding more of the good stuff. And then slowly that replaces the bad calories over time.
Absolutely. Well, you have two machines. So you're going to make the milk and then you're going to make the juice. And then I think you're going to mix them to wake somebody else up that's in a coma.
Potentially. But yes, that's what I'm going to do. Did you want me to finish what I eat in the day?
I absolutely do. I thought maybe
Okay.
one of these recipes was something that was in your day, maybe.
It's sometimes. So after a juice, what I usually eat first is a fruit, either watermelon, something juicy, plums, or just straight up a smoothie. And then for like later on in the day, in the afternoon, like a lunch kind of thing, I'll have either another smoothie or another fruit. So I'm eating fruit for most of the day. And then for dinner, I'll have a nice big salad. And then I've been trying to, it depends on what I feel, but I've been trying to just like mix in variety in the salad and just have like lots of different greens and tomatoes, cucumbers, but then also maybe some onion, maybe some sauerkraut sometimes, maybe some, what else? I put a lot of different seasonings like oregano and basil and stuff, and dulse and the seaweeds to make it salty. And yeah, the dressing. So sometimes I'll use nut and seeds, and sometimes I'll use coconut, and sometimes I'll even use chickpeas and soak them and blend them raw into a hummus and just like dip veggies in there. So
You can actually do beans raw, because I mean, that's when people talk about lectins, is it's safe to eat beans raw.
yeah, I learned it from Fully Raw Christina, and she just soaked it overnight. And I seem to do fine with it, but I don't overdo it. And I don't do it every day. Just
Nice.
like once in a while, I'll make a hummus, and I'll even eat like broccoli and cauliflower with it. But I don't overdo that either, and I don't do that all the time. So I find if I eat too many beans, I will get sluggish and heavy. But if I have a good amount, I'm fine, especially if I'm active.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Good
all these foods are available readily in Spain.
Yeah. I get chickpeas and nuts and seeds and like by the bag, and then I just soak them, rinse them, pretty much it.
Nice.
And the coconuts. So the coconut, I really miss the Thai coconuts, the young Thai coconuts that I'm sure you get in America in abundance. But I found these organic coconuts that come like with a stick. I have it here to show it, that you can like poke through one of the holes to take out the water. And then there's like a line around it. There's a line around it that's already kind of like grooved, so you can like smash it open easy. But the flesh is so difficult to get out. It's very tough. The young Thai coconut is so much easier to work with. But yeah, I can get pretty much everything in Spain. I can even get durian at the Asian markets. So I'm in Mallorca. It's an island. Palma is the capital. And if you go to Palma, there's some Asian shops, and I can get durian. I've seen young Thai coconuts like once in 2 years. I see dragon fruit, yellow dragon, like once in a while, but it's not so abundant like in Canada.
Nice. Have you found any other people that eat maybe not exactly like you in Spain, but maybe just regular vegan? Is there any kind of support for that there?
Well, like I told you, I found 2 people who do eat like me, who do like to use the raw foods and understand a little bit about detox and stuff. So there's 2 girls that I met on the island this past year. Last year, I didn't know anyone. As for vegans, I don't have that many friends. I don't know really vegans, but maybe I'm not as social as I normally would be once upon a time because I'm more focused on my projects. But there's some vegan restaurants, there's vegan friendly restaurants, and there's vegetarian restaurants. So I just presume they're as vegans.
Nice. Cool.
I go to one cafe restaurant thing, and the girls that run, I know one of them that runs it for sure, she's vegan too. So.
Oh, there's somebody here with your last name watching. I wonder if it's a friend or a relative.
Do you know the first name?
Kasia. Kasia?
Kasha is my older sister.
Oh, how nice that she's watching.
Cool. Oh, while we're talking about people, I want to shout out my friend Jeanette, Misfit Vegan, because she's the one who introduced me to you. I saw her go live with you, and she's a really good friend of mine from Miami and from the Woodstock Fruit Festival.
Yeah,
So shout out to you.
she's absolutely adorable. She likes anything that has a watermelon on it. So if you see anything, earrings, t-shirt, plate, send it to Jeanette.
Yes, exactly.
Somebody
She gifted me
said,
a watermelon towel, actually, and I could tell like she kind of like regretted it.
yeah, she loves watermelon. Somebody says if you microwave the coconut for 60 seconds after you cut it open, you will be able to take the flesh out easily. I never heard that.
Interesting. Well, I would have to invest in a microwave.
And most people that are raw or high raw don't use their oven or even have a microwave unless they live somewhere that it already was built in.
I wonder if that person knows like if the nutrition will still be fine.
Well, Dr. Greger says it's okay, but you never know.
Okay.
Oh, Misfit Vegan was just watching. Where'd you go, Jeanette? I need to get you on with your roommate. I love her Instagram. She's so positive.
Our world art, yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Very artistic soul.
Yep. She's the one that says, eat fruit, stay cute.
Jeanette said, yes.
And I say, eat veg, keep your edge.
Eat veg, keep your edge.
Yeah.
I like that.
Nice.
So I'm all about eat fruits and vegetables and all the plants that you care for.
Exactly. Well, these recipes you're making, they're pretty easy.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It just seems complicated because it's two things. But yeah, you just make a plant milk and you make a vegetable juice and you mix it together, half and half.
Well, let's see your creation.
Okay, so the best is if you have two people. One person does the milk, the other person does the juice, and then it's fresh at the same time. You bring it together. Okay, so I'm going to cut up some of the veggies, if that's fine. And I have the milk stuffs. So I guess I'll explain maybe the milk first. Okay, so I have about a cup of coconut flesh that I took out of the coconut. And as I mentioned, I opened it. This is what it looks like when it's empty, that shell. I brought it just to show you the stages. And then when you open it, inside is like that, white flesh. And then these are the pieces I cut out, and they have like a brown skin on it. So I just take the peeler and I cut the skin. You have to be careful because I have this Band-Aid because I cut myself with this. You have to be very careful. A potato peeler to cut the skin. And then you're left with just like the white flesh of the coconut, no brown, just to make it more smooth and creamy. So 1 cup of coconut flesh in the blender. And then about a cup of hemp seeds. So my version has hemp seeds. Blue Corona uses almonds. And these are hemp hearts, so they're already hulled. So I don't even bother soaking them or anything. But if I use nuts and seeds, or if I use hemp seeds that are not hulled, I would soak them. So that's a cup of hemp seeds. And then I'll put a dash of cinnamon. So a little bit of cinnamon. And then, so I have some vanilla. I have to open it up and show you how I get the vanilla out, about 1 inch of vanilla.
So you're actually using the whole vanilla bean.
Yes, I like to use as much whole foods as possible, but I'm not against using like vanilla oil or whatever, but I love using the whole food. And so I will cut this open. Maybe I should have grabbed another cutting board. Okay. Just gonna move some stuff around.
Have you ever
sorry,
heard?
Adrian, one second. I'm going to grab this little cutting board, okay?
Sure thing. I was going to ask you if you heard of vanilla powder. It's like whole vanilla beans. They've just been powdered up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure I've heard of that.
Love it. Do I recommend
about the
green juice and green smoothie daily? There's a question. I recommend green vegetables daily, and I think, and fruit, and I think you should eat as many of them as you can. So I think juicing is really good for people that would not, and smoothies too, would not eat them any other way. The reason I just drink about 8 ounces of green juices during the show is it's when I start to get hungry, and I'm obviously not going to be eating on my show. And so I just do this instead of eating the vegetables that I normally would eat if I wasn't doing a show at 11 o'clock. If you're trying to lose weight, I think it's better to eat the food wholer, because even though juices can be very healthy and therapeutic, you're separating the pulp and the fiber out, which is what's really going to help with weight loss and satiety. And chewing helps with satiety. So if weight isn't an issue, I'd say eat your food as whole as possible. But then again, like if you have TMJ or people have teeth issues, that might be a way to go. But I'm for getting fruits and vegetables in you by any greens necessary. Great question. Thank you very much. Oh, we got another person, Zofia, Zofia, same last name. Hey, well, that was nice of you to invite the whole family to watch.
If you're interested in her story, I would love to share it.
Yes, please.
But while I'm at it, I will show you. So the vanilla bean kind of came off on my knife. Can you see it?
The little seeds.
Yes, the little seeds I took off from the skin. So I don't use the skin. And then I just put that in the blender. So my mom thought I was crazy at first. And she's like, what the heck is this guy doing? Especially when I did a juice fast and stuff, which I understand, you get skinny and all that. And I'm more like, I experimented, I did a lot of stuff. We weren't taught this stuff growing up. But it took a couple of years. And my mom noticed that when I'm not there for like a month or two, she started having like back pains and issues. And I came home and I'm just like, Mom, you're just dehydrated. So I'm like, don't worry. And I start making my juices again. And I feed her juices every time I make it, and then cut up fruit, and I give her fruit every time I make it. And then she would feel better again. So she started realizing the potential of my lifestyle. And then, so you were just talking about how you don't promote too much juice.
Well, no, I'm not anti-juice. Most of the people that I work with really need to lose weight or want to lose weight. And so I recommend eating the food in its whole food form, the fruits and vegetables where the fiber is intact. But I'm not anti-juice by any stretch of the imagination, especially green juice.
Yeah. So my mom, basically, she joined me for a juice fast for 1 week. And while she was losing weight, she was looking at the scale every day, and she was just feeling good and just checking herself out in the mirror, in her underwear, feeling herself, feeling better. So she realized like juice helped her a lot. And then a year later, she joined me for a 21-day juice cleanse. And then she was like walking uphill and not losing her breath. Her arthritis was better. And then she kept up the daily celery juice habit actually as well. And her blood pressure regulated. So she started realizing all these benefits. So now she makes a fresh juice every day, but she makes a smoothie every day. And she eats a lot of vegetables and fresh foods. And she's like vegetarian now. So like she let go of most meat except for some fish and a little bit of dairy here and there. And I'm just like so proud of her, how she changed her lifestyle. And now she goes to her like Polish friends. Like she was at an event yesterday and she couldn't eat anything. And she's so like, when my mom commits to something, she does it, you know? And she's like, no, I'm not eating the other stuff. There's meat in there or whatever. So I can't believe it went from she's thinking I was crazy, what am I doing, to like her changing her lifestyle. It's just incredible.
That's fantastic. Do your sisters follow your way of eating?
So my sister who's here, my other one, she's inspired. I don't know how much, she does some smoothies, but the one watching, she started doing some juicing like grapefruit with her husband. And then she started doing green smoothies actually, which you would like because all the fiber is intact. And she's blending up all the greens with apples. And so she's just trying to introduce more, but not like too radical of a change. But she she's really inspired, and she keeps saying like, I need to like change even more. So I feel like there's lots of potential for her to like take it to another level and just like much more fruits and vegetables, you know. But she's definitely affected by the lifestyle for sure.
That's great.
So the next thing I add is 2 cups of coconut water. This might be a little less, but I'll add some regular water to just even it out. I'd rather make too much than not enough. So I just pour that in here. And then, because if there's leftover, I like having the milk anyway. So I'll just put some more water to make it about 2 cups in total. That will blend soon, but now I'll cut up the vegetables. So what we have here is, slide this, 1 cucumber. I'll cut that into some slices.
Kuba, I have a question from Dina. Dina, sorry, I didn't see it. Guys, please put for the question marks before the question, because otherwise I think y'all just chatting. She said, what's a good replacement for the coconut? Is it essential to include it for this recipe? Would almond milk with coconut extract work, or something else other than coconut meat, or is it essential?
No, it's not essential. So I would say you could just use any plant milk that you want, any plant milk you care for. So you can make almond milk, you can make oat milk, you can make any nut and seed, hazelnut. I like to mix almond and pumpkin seed. Sometimes I use sesame seed. Any milk, plant milk that you make, you can use for this recipe for sure. Coconut, I just really like because it's like brain food. It's really good for the brain. It's really good for grounding you, especially like all the fruit I eat. It's good to have that balance with the coconut.
I need to thank
Now,
Sherry. Wait, hold on. You got me a super chat donation. Sherry likes fruit. Every time I have somebody raw on, she donates. So Sherry, I think I should just do an all raw show. I'm just kidding. But that was very kind.
Sherry likes fruit, is my good friend too. Thank you, Sherry.
Absolutely. And I mean, listen, whenever a raw guest wants to come, I mean, I really rarely turn people down from the show. I mean, I think of thousands of guests, maybe 4 people didn't get on because they really just didn't fit right with the audience. But please contact me. I don't reach out anymore because too much rejection. But if you'd like to be on the show, you don't even necessarily have to be vegan, but you just can't be promoting animal products on the show.
Okay, cool. So remember, as a honey replacement, you can use date syrup.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sherry. She says, love you both. Well, Sherry, it sounds like you're a raw person. Maybe you should come on the show. Does she do demos or?
I think Sherry is not the type to show herself on camera as much as someone like me, for example. But I believe she has some experience with food demos, yes.
If she'd like.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, Sherry, but I think you do have some experience with that. So I know Sherry, I don't know how much, when people are more private, I don't know how much I should say about them in public, but I believe she's done some stuff with Doug Graham. You know, Dr. Doug Graham?
Nice.
From the 80-10-10 diet? Yes.
We did a whole week with him.
Oh, wow. Wait, was she? And it wasn't with Sherry there? Was Sherry there?
Well, there was a Sherry on it, but she's going by Sherry likes fruit. I don't know if it's the same Sherry. Is it the same Sherry?
That's Sherry. That's Sherry.
Cool.
Small world. Yes, now I remember. Yes, that's Sherry. So I just cut up 5 stalks of celery. And now I'm cutting up about 5 leaves, I would say, of kale. So this recipe might make more, but I'm all for having too much. Never too much juice milks for me.
Oh, she's saying she's a different Sherry. I mean, she's saying this Sherry is SHERI, and the one that was on the show was SHARI. Thank you.
This Sherry is not SHARI?
Nope, it's Oh yeah, she is SHARI. Sorry. I gotta read my glasses, but yep. But it's a different Sherry. So let me figure out who that Sherry was. Yeah, the more there's another Sherry watching. The more Sherrys, the better. So we welcome all Sherrys and cherries. Oh God, there's no more cherries. Have you noticed? They came and went so fast.
I didn't even see much cherries here in Spain.
Sherry Leiterman was, was on Leiterman. Sherry Leiterman or Leiterman, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
So right now we're talking about Sherry likes fruit, right?
Yep.
Which is my friend. Okay, cool. So half a bunch of parsley I just cut up. And now I'm gonna cut up half a bunch of cilantro. I'd say a little less than half, like a smaller half. Now cutting it up because I'm using a vertical juicer. And you kind of got to cut the produce small. Otherwise you can like put the whole thing in at once with a lot of juicer. Oh, the smell of cilantro is just like so good. Some people hate it, some people love it. I'm a lover. So the beet, the recipe is 1 medium beet, but this is a huge one. So I'm just going to use like half of this beet. I'll use the big half. I love beets for the kidneys, for the blood, and to make your skin glow. The beauty. Okay. Detail. So I don't know about you all, but I'm having lots of fun being here. So I really want to show my appreciation to you, Chef AJ. And this is the vegetable part of the juice. So this is gonna be a lot. All right, so I'm just gonna juice and blend now. Hopefully it's not too loud. So that cool? I don't know what the protocol, if you're going to like talk in the meantime or what, or.
Well, yeah, well, I can maybe talk. Sometimes Zoom mutes your device. So let's see. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
So if you still hear me though when I talk?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I like to mix up the ingredients a little bit. But if there's something soft like cucumber, I'll put it first. Cucumber. And with this juicer, I learned from John Kohler, you don't actually have to push. That makes it worse. It just kind of does it itself. It sucks through. And I'll put the beets. I love this process. I love the sound of the produce just like crunching. And like living foods, the reason I love it so much is because it's like so packed with life force. It's like popping with life force. So I'm not against cooked food. Like I said, I use it myself sometimes. But I always promote to people, I don't know what you do, Chef AJ, but when they eat the dinner, I promote just having raw food with your dinner, like a salad with your dinner, just to not try to eat like a cooked meal, like only cooked, but have some raw food in there, just to have more like enzymes to help with digestion.
Yep. Do you believe in that saying that I always hear, melons, eat them alone or leave them alone?
Pardon?
I've always heard, oh, sorry. I always heard a saying, melons, like watermelon, honeydew, cantaloupe, eat them alone or leave them alone. Have you ever heard that?
Yes, I have. Because I've learned a lot about food combining and I take it quite serious. And I usually eat watermelon alone, but I'm not too scared to like mix it sometimes with citrus. So like pineapple or oranges. I don't think it's as scary as they say, but most things I wouldn't mix it with for sure. Just because watermelon goes through you or melon goes through you so fast. So if you mix something more dense, it can like not mix well in the digestion because the watermelon's pushing everything through fast. And you can have like you can have some pain or like bloating or discomfort. And now I'm just mixing all the greens, the parsley, the cilantro, and the kale. I wonder if anyone who's watching has ever had a plant milk juice.
A milk what?
Like a gorilla milk or a vegan milk, what I'm making, like a milk juice.
Has anybody ever had a milk juice? He's asking. And Marianne says, does your juicer extract the fiber? Could you just put all the veggies in the blend tech along with the plant milk?
If you're talking to me, AJ, maybe give me like a hand signal because I can't hear. So you are talking to me.
I am talking to you. There was a question from Marianne. There's a few questions. And Sue wants to know if you use organic. Hardnet wants to know, why do you want to eat melons alone or leave them alone? And Marianne says, could you just put everything in the blender so that it doesn't extract the fiber?
Okay, so I try to get organic when I can. And I try to focus on certain things organic, like celery and my greens. And I've been even getting more like cucumber and tomato lately, organic. I'm not always that strict, but things that are more exposed where I eat the skin, I try to get organic, or else like local as thing as possible. Because organic's not perfect either, but I'd rather have organic than conventional whenever I can. But I'm not like crazy strict about it, and I do my best. And for melons, so like I was saying, melons really pass through you fast because it's like mainly water. So it goes through your digestive system really quick. So when you eat something else, most things are more dense. It can like push against the dense thing. The dense thing is trying to take its time through your digestive tract, and the melon's like pushing it fast. So you can have discomfort in your digestion. And the other thing was about, yes, you can totally like use the pulp if you want. Yeah, maybe I'll try that one day. Why not? Because it's like you can make a green shake, right? So you can make something like I'm making here as a green shake or a red shake since it's with beet. And that's totally a good thing to eat, to consume. And then you can make plant milks and not take out the fiber, but it just like, it would become more like a yogurt. It wouldn't be, it would be really pulpy drink, like very dense, but you could do it. Why not? I've never tried it with the milk and the greens, but if you feel called to it, you should try it. Why not? Fiber is great. I just like the smoothness of this drink. So this juice is pretty slow. I miss my green start. It's much more efficient. But we work with what we got. Any juicer, any blender that you're going to use is a good one. And any way you get your fruits and vegetables in, like AJ said, is good. You can make salads. You can use the nuts and the seeds and make yogurt from the coconut. And one thing that Lou Corona does is he puts probiotic. And probiotic helps to culturize the nuts and seeds to make them more utilizable and digestible. Because nuts and seeds on their own, if you don't soak them, they could be pretty inflammatory. And the probiotic just like helps break it down even more and brings more like good life force to the yogurt or the milk. And it's really good for your gut microbiome to give you like that good healthy bacteria. AJ, are we good for time? Like, are you good with time? So?
Yeah, well, can you hear me? I can't hear me.
Pardon?
Well, I don't know if you can hear me, so.
I saw your hand signal and it looked like you're saying so.
No, it just depends how much, because I do have another show I have to prepare for, but there are some questions when you have a chance.
Okay, well, I'm gonna just juice for maybe like a minute or two. I won't maybe put all of it, and then I'll blend quick, and then I'll come to the question, okay? Okay, would you like me to answer the question while I strain the juice?
Yes, absolutely. And the question is from Misty. Do the beets add a very strong flavor?
Yes, definitely. Beets, you'll definitely taste in your juice.
Great.
Like,
And
as you can see, like they even a little bit of beet will make it all red, but yeah, beets is a strong taste. Tastes like beets. So hopefully you know how beets taste.
right. Beets are good. Beets taste good. Dina says, what do you do with all the beautiful fiber that is removed from juicing the vegetables? And Sherry's mentioning making crackers with it.
Yes, you could. I sadly waste a lot of pulp, just being honest. But you could make crackers with a dehydrator, which I do not have. In Canada, I have one. And if you can compost, I feel really bad when I can't, which is right now. But a lot of times in life, I do compost, depending where I live. And I would just compost it as it goes back into the land. But I've seen my friend Eva on Instagram. What's her Instagram? She made a reel on what she does with the pulp, and she showed like making crackers. She showed using it in like soups and blending it and stuff. And she even showed using it in the land, like gardening, just to enrich the soil. So there's a million things you can do. And like I said, I just do my best with where I'm at, and I always try to improve my lifestyle, and I have a vision, and I just keep working towards it and getting closer. And eventually I'll live where I won't be wasting the pulp. I'll be at least composting it. Okay, so we have the juice here. I use pots, as you can see, for juicing. Be cool. So we have half a jar. So this is a 32 ounce. In America, you guys know ounces. 32 ounce jar, so 1 liter jar. I put more than half because one thing you could do, especially you promote a lot of low fat, it seems. AJ?
Yes, absolutely. At least for
If you want to keep it lower fat, I learned this from another Ava. Ava loves raw. And she does 3/4 of the green juice for the gorilla milk and then 1/4 of the plant milk just to keep it lower in fat. And as you notice, I didn't use any apples either. So it's the only sweetness comes from the beet and the coconut water. Okay, so now I'm going to blend this milk. It might be a little loud. I like to blend it a lot to make it creamy and smooth and just easier to strain. So now what I would do is strain this through a nut milk bag. It's not like, it has some color from all the use. Because sometimes when I make plant milks with cinnamon and stuff, it makes it a little darker. So now I'll just pour this through the nut milk bag and squeeze it. And this is one of my favorite drinks on the planet. Honestly, any juice milk. It's just so good because it's more dense, it's more creamy, it's just more satisfying. And like I said, I'm trying to put on weight and I'm training. So this is just like a good juice for building. So maybe someone trying to lose weight, if they're still interested in this, they would do the like 1/4 of the plant milk and more of the green or beet juice. So we're almost at the end.
question, do you take any supplements? There's a question.
Yes, I do. I take B12 from LiveWise. It seemed like a really pure company. So I take B12 drops. And I got the injection recently and I got it also before the winter. So B12 is one thing that I had a little lower. But my dad had B12 issues and he ate meat and stuff. So I don't think it's just to do with veganism. And then I do take this thing Clean Slate because my friends send me it. I forget exactly what it is, but it's not something I'm too crazy about. And otherwise, some people call it supplements, but I use things like spirulina and I take barley grass juice powder. So those are kind of like supplements, but it's just like plant foods that are dried or dehydrated. That's pretty much it for the most part. Yeah, that's it. I get a lot of vitamin D from the sunshine. So I don't actually take the vitamin D. But in the winter, if I had to, I would. And there have been times where I have. And I try to do things like eat kelp for iron. I think for iron, but
not for iodine. What about
iodine? Sorry.
Iodine, yeah.
Iodine is what I meant. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Iodine, yes. So when I hear of like plants that have things that we need to supplement with, I'll try to get it from the plant. So this is pretty cool how it came out pretty even, eh? So in that case,
how long would a beverage like that last?
The thing is, I usually drink it within a day or two max, but I believe it'll last 3 or maybe even 4 days. If you seal it with no oxygen, it should last up to 4 days. But if it starts tasting sour, then it might not be good. So I recommend within 3 days for sure. the ideal.
Have you seen those blenders that some of the raw food people use? Like, what's the name of it? Not suction blenders, like where they takes the air out.
Yeah. Vacuum blender, I think it's
Vacuum blender. That's it. Yeah, those are pretty.
Yeah, and the people who use it, they rave about it. And Lou Corona actually does use it too. So it's basically an addition, I think, to the Vitamix.
Yeah.
That takes out all the air, sucks out all the air. So Lou will use it when he's making stuff to go in the fridge for longer days. But if he's just drinking it right away, he won't use it. Okay, so now I'm just gonna grab a glass right here, really quick. I learned this from Lou Corona as well. To always like try the juice and try the milk separate. And then you mix it. So I'll try the juice taste test. Yeah, so it's very vegetable-y and the beet is strong, but also the greens. It's barely sweet at all. So I've been loving these kind of drinks, but most people I feel, if they're not used to like this lifestyle of fruits and vegetables, it might be too strong. You would need apple in there. But I love it. And then this is the milk. That's so creamy, sweet, and delicious. I love it. You can really taste the hemp, which I love this version. And then the coconut water makes it so sweet. So what I'm going to do, yes?
You're going to mix them together, right?
Yes, I'm going to mix them together. I think I'm going to do it in a big one. So I'll put some aside. Worry about that later. Some aside, worry about that later. Okay, are you ready? We got the two. And I'm going to pour one into the other. So you can see the dark red and then like basically white milk. And watch the color of the beet change. I don't know if you can notice on there, but it's like a pink now, like a creamy pink. So this is what it looks like.
That's a beautiful color.
Yes, I love it. So this is to everyone who's watching for your health. And may you be inspired to take control of your health and take your health to the next level as best as you can. Eat more fruits and vegetables, exercise, get fresh air, sunshine, and just take care of yourself.
Well, thank you. This was such a nice presentation. If people want to connect with you, I put everything you wrote me in the show notes, but is there a place that they can find you mostly? Maybe Instagram, Facebook, YouTube?
Yes. So mainly I'm on Instagram as Raw Kuba. And Kuba is Kuba, so Raw Kuba. My YouTube is the same. And in my Instagram, you'll see links to lots of cool free things. Like I have a 3-day juice cleanse ebook. I have a 7-day video series for just getting healthy. And also I have a Facebook community linked in there where we can connect on Facebook and actually like have more conversation back and forth. And as for the 3-day juice cleanse, because it's kind of like a cleansing season going into summer and stuff, I have a website just for that. It's called 3daysofjuice.com.
Nice. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, AJ. I had so much fun and I feel very honored for being on your show.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was so nice to meet you. And that was so nice that your family came on to watch. I like when that happens so much.
Thanks for shouting them out.
Absolutely. And thanks for thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back in an hour and 45 minutes when we have Nick DeVorn from the local spicery, who is unveiling the best salt-free seasoning without any of the weird stuff that